The San Jose Sharks dip into the NCAA free agent pool and sign Noah Beck out of Arizona State. We get to know him.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team, the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. If you want to be an everyday, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And we're doing a short kind of 15 minutes or so on Noah Beck, the defenseman that the Sharks signed out of Arizona State. So we'll get to know Noah, what he's going to bring to the Sharks, and kind of more importantly, where does he fit in the Sharks organization? So before we get to all that, do want to let you guys know today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. So we're that time of season, right, where teams are signing NCAA free agents. So guys who are not drafted but have kind of progressed throughout their college career and warranted enough to be, earning AHL or NHL contracts. Of course, the Sharks did this with Colin Graff last year. It's very, very common practice. And the Sharks signed a little bit of an older player, 24, actually turns 24 today. Happy birthday. No, what a birthday. Signing an NHL contract on your birthday. Much better than my 24th birthday. But anyway, so the Sharks signed Noah Beck out of Arizona State. So let's get to know Mr. Beck a little bit more, and we'll kind of dig into the contract, all that fun stuff here. So Noah Beck, former 7th-round pick of the St. Louis Blues from the 2020 draft class, played last season with Arizona State. He had 37 games, scored 5 goals with 28 assists and 66 shots on net. Before Arizona State, he actually played a season in the USHL and then played 4 years at Clarkson University, where he put up decent numbers until his final year, where he actually put up pretty abysmal numbers when it comes to production. Since he was one of the COVID kids who got his season kind of messed up there, he got that extra year of eligibility, right? And he this year, he didn't get his a pro offer last year, was a grad transfer to Arizona State this year, and boy, did it pay off for him with the production that he put up this year. So, sometimes betting on yourself works out. Elite Prospects actually had him ranked 9th among the NCAA free agents. And here's what they had to say about him. So they gave him a ranking on a scale of 1 to 9, 9 kind of being super, super duper elite. You don't see players like that very often. His skating was a 4.5, shooting was a 4.5, passing is a 4.5, handling a 4, puck sense of 5, or sense is a 5, and then physical is a 5. And they go on to say, at one point, Noah Beck looked like quite the 7th-round find for the St. Louis Blues, but Clarkson had a down year, took a hit. His play took a hit. He went unsigned, like we just mentioned, right? 200-foot defenseman. Beck does just about everything at a high level in the NCAA. He activates in most plays, sets up chances with quick passes, leads the charge on breakouts, kills rushes with well-timed passes, wins battles down low, and flattens opponents who enter space. Though not an especially explosive mover, he's evasive and clever on puck retrievals, a highly valuable skill in today's game. As an older player, it's fair to wonder how much room for growth is left, which is very, very fair. And his success is dependent on a lot of having the freedoms to join the play, but his increased physicality and NHL level reads suggest he could fill a depth role in the right environment. Also looking at how his kind of production ranked, NHL, I totally blanked on his name. NHL Foley, who does a bunch of cards and stuff like that for prospects on Twitter. He is kind of Grady model. He has him as a 54.5% scoring. His goals per 60 is what really drags him down. He didn't score any even strength goals. That's again kind of what drags him down. A lot of his production was kind of on the power play. Assists per 60 is really nice at 96%. He does really positive things, but I guess the goals, just that goal, not scoring a lot of goals on 5-on-5, I think, but really kind of kills his scoring there. Does solid like when it comes to kind of creating shot generation. Like he has a 46.3 off puck, which is kind of your defensive metrics. He's definitely utilized a lot for Arizona State, but the transitions where you really get excited about him. His entries per 60 are pretty good, and his breakouts are even better at almost 80% per 60. So that's kind of going to be what his role is that kind of puck moving two-way defenseman. Maybe not much of the offense that you would expect there, but I think for a guy like Noah Beck, who's probably pretty close to his ceiling, right? Especially as a 24-year-old, there's going to be some growth and there's going to be a little bit of growing pains when he plays professional hockey, but he's probably pretty close to a finished product at this point, especially with 5 years of college underneath his belt. This isn't going to be some guy who just kind of most likely doesn't take like a huge leap, which is fine. But he did sign a 1-year deal that kicks in next season. So just with his age, at age 24, he can only sign a 1-year ELC. Just as a quick reminder with that. So ELCs 18 to 21, when you sign those, your ELC is 3 years long. If you're 22 to 23, your ELC is 2 years. If you're 24, your ELC is 1 year. And then it's basically just normal contracts after that. So that's why his ELC is only 1 year. So he'll still be cost control. The Sharks want to keep him, et cetera, but it is a 1-year deal for him. And he is going to be on an amateur tryout with the Barracuda, which allows him to play with the Barracuda this year. And then he will have an opportunity to play with the Sharks next year. So we're going to talk about kind of where he fits in this year with the Barracuda, and then kind of where he fits in long term with the Sharks organization. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. Basketball season is here, and March Madness never fails to deliver. And with FanDuel, it's giving you a chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets with your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks, using everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. Picking favorites is always really fun, or if you just want to pick the team that wears blue, or whatever, however you like to, fill out your brackets, they've got you covered there. With tournament games happening almost every day, there's always something exciting to bet on. The FanDuel app is simple to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get on the college hoops action all tournament long. And if you're looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1-ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling longer. I personally like the shelled variety. I like having the little shell. I like the little crack. Just the plain salt version I'm good to go, but they have a bunch of different flavors. And if you don't like shells, they have the no shell variety. Makes it easy to snack, especially when you're at work or on a road trip or whatever it is. Wonderful Pistachios got you covered there. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. All right, let's continue to talk about Noah Beck. So where does he fit in with the Sharks organization, right? And let's kind of start with the Barracuda right now. So Barracuda definitely could use a little bit of defensive help. and that's where he's going to start his kind of career right now. Again, amateur tryout. I don't expect him to be in the lineup on Wednesday night, but who knows? Maybe by this weekend. So, right, you have Luca Cagnoni, who's up in the NHL, and hope, fingers crossed, spends the rest of the season up in the NHL. You also have, Lucas Carlson, another puck moving defenseman, up in the NHL right now. You potentially have, and the Sharks defense is a little haggard right now with injuries, right? Jimmy Schultz, who's kind of bounced back and forth. You have Jack Thompson, who's kind of bounced back and forth. So adding another puck moving defenseman, and even like the Barracuda have been playing very well, and the defense I think has really kind of played really well. And guys like Jimmy Furlong, who's really come along this season, and Braden Haish, who's also I think really come along as well. Like having those guys, I think having those guys in the lineup, you should continue to have those guys. But again, just another body just in case, right? The Sharks come a calling for somebody else, right? And you've for the Barracuda, you've lost 3 of your top 6 defensemen, including Shakir Mukhamadullin, who's started the season the Barracuda. So you've lost three major defensemen right now. So adding another guy who can be a puck moving defenseman and is older than basically all those guys other than Lucas Carlson that I already mentioned, like that, it's not the end of the world. So so I think he's gonna, play there, like left-handed defenseman. He's a big boy at 205 pounds. Like he's a big guy. So where does he fit in long term, right? And first of all, I love signings like this. I love taking these little lottery ticket guys because you never know how they turn out. And if you get basically what was a 7th round pick that all you had to do was give a contract to, you didn't have to, right? You didn't have to give it up an asset. You didn't have to spend a pick on him. He's basically free. If you can turn him into something that's useful, that's a 100% a win. So I love these lottery ticket guys. So I think for where he kind of fits long term, I think it's more competition for that bottom pairing, right? You think of a guy like Henry Thrun, who's had a little bit of an up and down season this year, is also kind of fighting with some injuries right now. I know he just signed a contract extension, but it's not like a massive contract extension. You think about potentially guys who might be looking to graduate, like a Jack Thompson, Luca Cagnoni, who maybe they start next year on the Barracuda, maybe they start next year on the Sharks. It gives you more depth organizationally, right? And then if you don't know what's going to happen with the draft, if you're going to get the first pick there and maybe get a Matthew Schaefer, or if Sam Dickinson's going to be ready, again, it just gives you your organization more depth. So I don't think like Noah Beck is going to be, preclude you from being active in free agency, right? Again, he's a 1-year player on an ELC that you can easily shuffle between the Wichita Thunder if you want, the San Jose Barracuda, or the San Jose Sharks next year. Like he can play in all 3 of those leagues potentially. Wouldn't be surprised if he played in all 3 of those leagues in one season, which, right, it happens. But I do think like it's a nice lottery ticket, and see what you can get out of a player who, again, is probably pretty close to hitting his ceiling of what he's going to be. And if he turns into a bottom pairing puck moving defenseman, that's great for a guy that you did not have to draft. You did not have to trade a pick for, and you got for free. So I think it's a really smart signing. Again, I love these NCAA signings because it kind of gives you an opportunity to try guys out, see if you can find that diamond in the rough. And then if he works out, cool, you can re-sign him. He's going to be cost controlled for the next couple of seasons anyway, between RFAs and then, realistically, like what type of contract he's going to command on an open market. And then 2, if it doesn't work out, it's no skin off your teeth. You lose out a contract opportunity that you could, and the Sharks have $1 bajillion to spend anyway. So I think this is a really smart signing opportunity by the Sharks, and it doesn't keep you from being super aggressive this off season. And then if you do move on from some of your picks, it's just, or some of your potential, you start to see some of your prospects age out or kind of graduate to NHL players. It just gives you another layer of depth. And I think this season, if we've learned anything, how the Sharks organization, they threw so much pieces at the defense core. Jimmy Schultz, right? Lucas Carlson. You got Jack Thompson at the end of last season. You have Luca Cagnoni coming up. Like, you went out and got Braden Hashe. Hashe. Why do I keep screwing it up? But Hashe. Like, you went out and got a bunch of these pieces. A Joey Keens. Like, you redid your entire blue line just in case, right? The Sharks need to call up 3 of your defense. Your Barracuda team were like scraping to try to like sign amateur tryout guys to try to, that we saw last year or a couple years ago, to try to just fill up a roster to play that night. So, and then, I'm really happy with the signing. I'm really excited to see what Noah Beck does. So, of course, when Noah Beck makes his debut with the Barracuda, we'll break that down for you on your next step or whenever that happens. So, we'll be back, though, later tonight, tomorrow, while they looking at the college kids for the San Jose Sharks prospects and which ones who are left in the tournament, what I kind of expect to see from them, and when and if they might be signing their ELC. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Until then, bye, friends.